Would you like to read the first question, please, Jane?
Okay, well, we're starting with the longest question. We'll get that over and done with first, which is, why can't I think of a question? It could be from Reg or Rez.
Why can't I think of a question? Well, that's good. There must be nothing that you want to ask, which means you've got it. So thank you for that question. That's superb. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. That is brilliant. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. That was an easy one. What's the next one?
Wasn't it? So the second one's from Pam Shackleton, and
Hello,
it relates to the meditation this morning.
Yeah.
I'm used to meditating, but on this occasion I felt quite dizzy and sick when I came out of the meditation, and this has never happened before.
Depends on two things. First of all, what level you reach whilst you're in meditation. As you reach a meditative state, you enter a world of peace and of harmony. Now, coming back out of it quickly reconnects you with anything that is challenging in your physical life. If you've got aches and pains, they come back, unfortunately. If you've got challenges, you've still got to face them, and it can make you feel sick. It's a jolt coming back into them. What we always have to do, and it's important that we do, following any meditation, is close ourselves down. Because in the meditative state, our energy centers throughout the body open up. They give out light, but they also take in information. So in a world that is quite dense at the moment, we have to make sure before we come out of meditation, before we open our eyes, before we get up and make a cup of tea, that we are completely closed down. And we can see them in our mind's eye as flowers or discs, or the iris in an old-fashioned camera, remember those? That closes. Make sure that they close, that you have sealed them. And then seal them with gold light, or seal them with a gold cross that you place over each major chakra. And when you feel that you are sealed in, and asking always for help from your higher self and help from the divine, and that you wish to be protected for the rest of the day you are entering, then slowly come back to this level. But it can disorient you in the early stages of meditation or deep meditation. And it means that you've reached another level. That's the reason why following trance communication, I'm so out of it. Because my spirit has been released to a certain extent, and then has to come back here into this density, into this communal think, communal vibration. And the communal vibration is one of fear for the most part. It's one of depression for the most part. It's one of anxiety for the most part, because that's how they want us to be at the minute. So we have to be mindful of that we are re-entering a lower state of being, and we have to protect ourselves from that lower state of being.
Okay. The next one is from Angela.
Yes,
and she
Angela.
says, I've been able to remember many past lives since I was a child. How do I know they're genuine and not the field manipulating my consciousness?
I remember many past lives as well. There is a feeling to past lives that you know is not imagination, that you know is not coming from outside of yourself, but from inside of yourself. And remember that you have a Geiger counter in here. You have a mind in here that will always, with practice, reveal the truth to you. So if you are unsure regarding a past life, take that question as to whether it's real or imagined into your heart mind, become quiet, and wait for the vibrational answer to wash over you and wash through you. Is this real? Become quiet. Don't seek the answer quickly. And you will feel, not from here, but from here, a vibration that will then swell over you. You might see the word yes or the word no, but it will consume you. And you are left in no doubt that the answer you are being given is correct. And you can test that out with trivial things, to test your heart mind, to see how it works. You know that parcel that I sent for 2 days ago, is it coming today? No. But it's supposed to be here today, they're telling me it's here today. No. and it doesn't come. And you, step by step, build up confidence in the answers that your heart-mind gives you. But the trick is not to go in with a preconceived answer. Yeah. What have I got to do? But I want it to be this way. No, you don't.
I do.
Chocolate. It's you have to let go of this, let go of any preconceived ideas and say, I want the truth. I want the truth of the situation. And your heart-mind will speak to you. On the subject of past lives, I've not been Henry VIII. Not been Cleopatra. I have been a fisherman in China, and my male that time, and my spiritual mentor was my brother, and was male. And it was a very peaceful life. We fished, and we ate fish. And there was a fishy theme to everything we did. There weren't a lot of unfishy moments. And you would think, well, what was learnt in that life? Maybe what was learnt in that life was patience. I don't know. Maybe what was learnt in that life was quiet contemplation. I don't know. Maybe what was learnt in that life was the appreciation of another human being I was related to in that life. I don't know. I was incarnated in Germany, and I've said this before in this room, and I was quite rich, and I don't know what's happened this time round. And I had 3 children. My spiritual mentor was my wife in that life. And we went off a cliff, literally, in a thunderstorm, and we died. And we stood up, and there was a light, and we went into the light, and we disappeared. I was a woman in Egypt. I was a seer in a temple. And again, incarnated with my spiritual mentor. She was also a seer. Both of us there. And we were confined, we were restricted in our seeing because we had to see to order. We couldn't see for ourselves, we had to see on behalf of royalty. And we were in a temple that was a very dark place, not dark in vibration, but dark, it was gloomy. And there were channels on the floor that took water from point A to point B, which was confirmed for me when I watched a documentary years later. And there was an archaeologist talking about Egyptian temples and the water system that went through troughs. So it was confirmed. So in each of those lives, I would have learnt something and prepared. The reason why I incarnated with Joan in the German life, which seemed to be maybe pre-Victorian, something like that in terms of years, was so that in this life we could attract towards each other. That connection that enabled me to work as a medium and to be developed as a medium needed to be. And just as we attract karma, we also attract, as I talked about this morning, people who we have incarnated with before. So that life, the purpose of that life was not the riches, unfortunately. It was to make that connection so that we would draw together in this life. And the first time I ever saw Joan was in a circle that was being run, an open circle being run by a friend of mine now on that side. And she was sat across the room from me. And I thought, I know you. Weirdest thing. I know you. You're a nurse. And we got talking. And she had been a nurse during the Second World War and had dealt with severe burn patients that had come out of their Spitfires and been disfigured. And was the only person in that hospital that had retained their sanity, that didn't have the modern parlance mental health problems. So, yes, take that past life question into your heart mind. Your heart mind will tell you whether it is real or not. But I can tell you that they are real. Who am I speaking to?
Me,
they are real. They're real. Don't doubt them. Thank you for the question.
This question is from Michaela. There's a Gnostic belief that we never stay the same spiritually and we either evolve or devolve. What is the soul group's take on this?
That we either evolve or devolve. Right. We have trends in our lives when we come back here. We have things that we need to work out, and those things, as we said earlier, are opportunities. And not the attitude of the soul group, but the information they've given us in recent years has been added to. Now, the current state of affairs on Earth was predicted 10, 12 years before it happened in Joseph's books. We didn't know that they were prophecies, but they are. They predicted everything that's happening at the moment. He said that institutions would fall down, that things that we took for granted would be taken away from us if we didn't change tack. So, the soul group's aim, as always, will always be to elevate us so that we don't come back. Recently, however, if you are members of the World Meditation Alliance, you will see that there has been a deciding factor reached. For now. In that, we came to a point where it was pointless to add light to those who were causing such harm in our world. The aim prior to that was that you add light to them, they react to that light, it wakens them up, and they leave behind their ways and become more evolved spiritually. What was explained to us was that at that point, a few months ago now, I think, it was pointless adding light to them because they were taking that light, turning it, corrupting it, and using it to do more of what they're currently doing. So, bless them, they continue on their path, but they do not continue on their path fueled by light that can go to souls who are elevating. And what was further, not shocking, but interesting, is the current intention. Divine intervention. You can only go so far. You're not allowed to destroy everything, so there's no punishment for you. But you must go down the path that you, through your free will, have chosen. You've chosen this path. And you're choosing not to come back from this path. So, bless you, you must continue along that path until you wake up, until you realize what you're doing to people, until you realize what you're doing to yourself. And the rest of the souls on earth will be fueled and protected by the light that we are sending out, so that no further harm comes to them. How dare you harm souls? How dare you wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to harm somebody today for my own good, for my own profit? How dare you? That's not God speaking, that's me speaking, because I am so shocked by the way that souls are acting. And what happens to those souls? Increasingly, with a spiritual sense of what is happening, because I knew things were happening a good 2 years before they actually happened physically. Couldn't sleep, felt depressed, didn't know what was happening, but I knew something was coming. I've lost my thread, you know. What was I talking about? Somebody help me, please.
What happened to the people, the evil, the ones that were doing evil?
Right. Right. They, increasingly, I don't know how to describe this in physical dimensions. There is a sense of a split. There is a sense of a split. Not that anyone is being judged, but that there are the souls who have decided to move on into the light, and there are the souls that haven't. And the gap between those two sets of souls is widening. And Joseph warned for years in the books, you can go to the books that were written before all this current madness set off. He said that unless souls of their own volition, through their own free will and prompted by the light, turned back from the darkness that they are worshipping at the moment, then they will go into stasis. Because there's nowhere for them to go. If you have a soul that has surrounded itself with dark energy, that is invested in dark energy, that has turned away from the divine, turned away from the people around it, and seeks only to create chaos, how can that soul reach a higher vibration? There's no higher vibration that it can relate to. And so, and this has happened before, we're looking at a time, if things don't change, where many souls, because of their own choices, will find themselves in a state of stasis. In other words, they'll go to sleep. Through whatever means, they will go to sleep. But then they won't go anywhere because there's nowhere for them to go. And the earth will replenish itself slowly. The devas will work. And they will put back the joy and the light and the love into this planet. And then there will come a point where the only place that those people can go to that are in stasis will be the earth again. And so they will repopulate the earth. But they won't repopulate the earth clean, with a clean slate. They will repopulate the earth with a clean opportunity, but not a clean slate. And so they once again have a choice to lift themselves up. Do we descend into violence? Do we descend into corruption? Do we descend into control? Or do we this time round listen to that still small voice within us, look at that still small voice, listen to it, and realize that we are more than we appear to be? That we are not here to harm. We're not here to control. We're not here to take away people's freedoms. We are spirits. We are part of the divine. We are here in love. And that is always the hope. That is always the hope. But we have reached a deciding point. A deciding point where certain souls will move on and think, well, yes, it's time for us to move on from the earth. And certain souls will steep themselves in their materialistic ways to the extent where they can't move on and have to learn. But they can only teach themselves through circumstances, through coming to a day when they say, I've had enough of this, there must be a better way. Or to question what they're doing, or to reach out to their fellow man and woman in love. Interesting times we live in, aren't they? Interesting times. Thank you for that question.
The next question, I think it's yours. I don't know your name.
It's Robin, the bird. Bird.
Oh, yes, yes. Our names are so precious on a human level. Do we have spiritual names, and are these constant? How does God know us individually? Can he call me?
Can he call you? Right, yes. Sorry, what was your name again?
It's
Robin.
R-O-B-I-N.
Oh, Robin, yes. Wonderful, that's lovely. We are known, we're all known to God. The ones that go into stasis are known to God. The ones that don't are known to God. They're all loved equally because we're all part of the same thing. Ultimately, we're all part of the same thing. So God flows through us all and knows us all because those vibrations are known to the whole. There's no expulsion from those vibrations. I have never come across in years, I mean, we have names for the people in the soul group. We have the Persian gentleman. We have Joseph, because Joseph introduced himself as Joseph. We have the big Indian, because he was an Indian, and he's big. Boy, is he big. We have Brother John. We have various connections, but they're connections that are convenient for us. And in the spiritual realms, you are known by the vibration and light that you give off, not by a name. A name is a confining thing on earth. It's a lovely thing, but it's also a confining thing when you get to the spirit worlds. You don't need a name. They know instantly who you are, and more importantly, and more frighteningly, what you are, because of what you display. You do wear your heart on your sleeve, so to speak, and there are certain colours that will emanate from you, and there will be certain swirls of colour within your aura, and those things are visible to other spirits, and those things denote instantly what you are like, what you have achieved, and what you want to achieve. And that happens now, doesn't it, on a subconscious level when we meet somebody new. We meet somebody new and you think, oh, I don't want to know that person, and that sounds like I'm being terrible, but I don't want to know them. Or you think, oh, that's wonderful. I'm completely in harmony with that person, and I don't even know them on a physical level. Because you are reading their vibrational signature, not their name. But it's nice to have names. And I was named after the Archangel Michael. I was told spiritually. Yeah. I was named after my grandfather, who was called Michael, but I was named after the Archangel Michael, because they thought I needed the protection. And they were right.
Okay, the next question is about being either in this world or of this world, and again, I don't know the name. Certain aspects of this life are far from benign, but as the world is ultimately an illusion, how far should we allow ourselves to be pulled into the drama of life in order to right the wrong?
Okay, let me just think about that for a moment. How far should we allow ourselves to be pulled into the drama in order to right the wrong? It's a question of family. And it's a question of family because we are all ultimately family. We have family units on earth, but we are all family in this room. We're all family across the globe, even the ones that have decided they don't want to be family temporarily. And so we have come back here because we love people. We love family. We have, spiritually speaking, brothers and sisters that are out there that need help. And we've come back to facilitate that mission, to provide that help in simple ways, in little ways, and in big ways. It's funny, we say this is an illusion. Illusion is probably the wrong word. On any frequency, you have a reality. And you can react to that reality. I mean, if I walk over there, I'll walk into the door. But if I walked over there on a higher vibration, I would walk through that door. Because this frequency I would have tuned out of and into another frequency. So this is a frequency. And ultimately, every reality, except for God reality, is an expression of divine energy, shaped by the minds and the hearts of the people experiencing that reality. So it is a temporary, the cleansing spheres, or temporary areas of advancing reality, there to allow us to divest ourselves of the things that we no longer need as we move forwards on into infinity and back to our angelic life. Joseph speaks extensively about how we create, and he always uses the example of a chair. And he says, on my level, if I want to create a chair, I simply think chair, and the chair appears. And I can sit on it, I can move it around, I can change the way it looks. But then when I no longer need the chair, I just say, away chair, and it goes back into the ether to be used by someone else. So we are constantly creating. Everything can be described as an illusion, but it is a particular frequency. And the frequency that you are in depends on what you relate to. The frequency here at the moment, if I can describe, I don't mean in this room, if I can describe it, is, how do I put this into words? It is jangled, it is discordant. It exists, but it hasn't solidified yet. It is there if we accept it is there, but if we don't, we can push it away. And so we have to create a different illusion within the illusion. And that illusion has to become stronger than the illusion we're being sold at the moment. And at the tipping point, that other illusion disappears, is gone. And we have established a different frequency here. And that frequency will ensure that anything below that frequency, some of the many deceptions we're seeing at the moment and controls we're seeing at the moment, they'll fall away. They won't affect us. They can't affect us because they are lower in frequency than the reality we will be experiencing at that point, which is another reason why we're working for the light. We have to change the frequency.
This is a question about past lives. In this life, if you have an interest in historical events, does that mean in previous lives we participated in these events?
I don't know the answer to that. I am hugely interested in special effects. Not the special effects of today with computer-generated images, but the special effects of, say, the 60s and 70s, where you would use physical models. You would fly them through the air, or you would blow them up, and you would make them look as realistic as possible. I'm fascinated by that, fascinated. It is an obsession, as I think you'll agree with the number of large models there are in the house. But I don't think that necessarily means that I have been interested in special effects before now, because they only came into being in, say, the 1930s. And I don't think I was around then on Earth. What I would say is that I think that interest, that intense interest, is a projection of my creative ability as a spirit. And that as an angel, or as a highly evolved spirit, once I get back there, I love creating things. And I love to bring into being things and look at them in conjunction with others and then put them away and create something else. So I'd say that your interest is fantastic. It's wonderful that people have interest today. And it could be that you have been incarnated at a certain point in history. But it could also be that that is a reflection of your interests as a spirit. Because we don't sit on clouds. We don't have harps. We move on. We're not static. We indulge ourselves in pure creativity. You know, I can't play a note, but perhaps in the spirit worlds, I can play the piano like Liberace, but without the sparkly jacket. I don't know. We can look at things in spiritual spheres and say, oh, I think I'll try that. That's interesting. And we can examine all aspects of those things that interest us. A friend of mine, Bruce, who was a medium, now on the other side, once had a guide visit him and say, I've been studying a fish on Earth, a type of fish. And I could study that fish for 1,000 years and still find something new about it to consider. That's the scope that we have. That's just one fish, that's one aspect. So we can look at the fish, we can play the piano, we can move onwards as part of a soul group, we can create eventually, as angels, and we did this originally, we can create planets. We can create galaxies. And people say, oh, that's blasphemy. God did that. Well, yes, God did. We're God. We're God. So we can get back to being God and create all sorts of wonderful things. I know I've said it in here before, but I was once taken to, metaphorically speaking, because it would only appear like this to me through physical eyes, a space station, an observatory overlooking a planet. Oh, it's wonderful. The Persian gentleman was there, and there were these great panoramic windows. And I was looking down on this beautiful world, and I could see the civilizations on this world. I could see what they were doing, what they were up to, what they were creating, what they were thinking. And he said, one day, you'll be in charge of a planet like this, and beyond. And that lies ahead for each of us. And that's what we were. That's what we're working back towards. And that's wonderful. It's another reason not to come back, isn't it?